Hey guys, welcome back to Evony with Genghis, server 68. So today we're going to talk about wall generals, all the good ones available to you, the easy ones to obtain, and how you should decide who to go with. So I already covered ground generals and siege generals. I will be doing range and mounted as well. Those two take a lot of time because there are a lot of good ones in both of those and stuff to go over. Can't really go wrong in those. Wall general is very important. Basically, the game has come down to 5 or 6 really elite ones now, and you need to make sure you have one of those. It's okay to have another one early in the game when you are starting out, but just don't invest in the specs. So the ones that are available in the tavern, there's this guy. He is trash. All he does is increase your hospital capacity, but if that's your desire to lose battles and keep as many troops alive as you can, then Richard the Lionheart is your guy. Also in the tavern, these two guys used to be awesome. Kiet and Tran. Kiet actually has a little bit of a comeback because traps have become more powerful now in the game. They've started to set off and kill more troops, but he's still just too weak in comparison to the others. So he is not good, and Tran, who is good because he helps out with siege and ground. So that's really good late game. The problem is you're going to get him early game when you don't really have many siege, and then you're going to end up getting someone better than him anyways. And the big problem for Kiet and Tran, they have good skill books or specs and stuff. The problem is that these core stats are so low. Under 110 for 3 of the 4, and defense is only 113. That's really low. So you don't want any of them. So I'll just go through all the different cultures here and go over the different wall generals. And I believe there is no one else here in other. It was just those two guys. There are people you can use, like Trajan. Lots of people do like Trajan on the wall if you are from Continent 1. Lots of non-coiners who wanted to duplicate and use a guy for both wall and ground general went with Trajan, because specs were really hard to do back in the day. Evony gives more rune stones now, so it is easier. So really the days of using him on the wall are gone. Arabia does not have a wall general, so there's no one here to even consider. And in Russia, also, there is no one here to consider for the wall. And then we get to China, and again, there is no one serious to put on the wall here. So nothing to think about here at all. Now we're going to get to the goods, and they are coming up here. So Korea, there are 2 wall generals that they used to be good, and now they're not. And this is one of them. Yi Sun Sin, he was good, and so was the next person I'm going to go over, Joduiga. They used to be good. They have good, decent cores, 115, 112, 110, and some decent skills. The problem is just after they became good, Evony started to release really good guys like Joseph Johnston and Zach Taylor, and they just blew these guys out of the water. So is a brief period. I know my friend Goku had, I believe he had this guy. And so there was a brief period where these guys were good, but it was very short-lived. And the other one that I was just talking about there is this lady here, Joduiga. Increases mount attack and siege attack. So same category as Yi Sun. They just aren't good anymore. And then Japan has this massage guy, mounted troop attack and in-city range attack. And again, just kind of the same as those two. They all kind of came out the same time, and they just don't hold up anymore. So all the good wall generals, you are going to find them in America and Europe. And America has 2 of the best. So they have Joseph Johnston. This is who I have. He has 118 defense, 111 leadership, and then he is excellent at a lot of stuff. And it's very easy to get your range and siege both well over 1,000 on defense. Get your siege way up there, 1,200 plus with Joseph Johnston. So he adds to range attack there and defense. His main skill is in-city mounted HP, which is very big. And in-city range and siege by 20. Then you start going down here, range and siege 10, all troops 6, and then range and siege again 36. So he is excellent. We're going to get into some statistical comparisons in a bit. Zach Taylor is one of the other top 6. So there's a clear top 6 now, and he increases range 50, but he also adds to siege along the way. You could see all troop attack, siege attack getting mixed in there with the range. So those are the 2 American guys. If you get either of those, you're good. You don't got to worry about it. Just keep them. The difference between the others isn't very much. There's this guy, James Bowie. Lots of people get early on also, and he is not good. Don't do these specs on him. If you're gonna take him, cool, but don't invest too heavily in him. Now, Europe has a lot of the new good ones. Let's get to their oldest good one first, and that is Robert the Bruce. He is good. He still holds up very well. He's a good ground wall general. He's good at a lot of different stuff. He's ground focus, but he has a lot of other skills as well. He helps with mount. He helps all troop attack. And anyways, we'll get into some more comparisons with him. William Marshall, this is my pick for the number 1 guy in the game right now. He helps with in-city ground troop and mounted troop HP and in-city range troop and siege attack. So he's helping 4 different categories on the main skill. And then more siege attack, all troop, range, and here he helps mounted troop attack and range and siege. He is awesome. Now, the other good ones are these 2 side by side. Leo the Third, he helps with in-city troop attack, in-city siege attack, and then some other stuff as well. So trap triggering is always nice. In-city range and siege, siege, and range and siege. And then right here, Leo is basically Robert the Bruce's rival for the ground troops. He helps in-city ground troop attack, HP, and ground troop attack, ground troop, hospital, ground troop, ground troop. And now let's get into the statistical comparison of what separates all these guys. So right here, we have an excellent database sheet, an Excel sheet. We'll just go over this, and basically, I'm not sure who made this one. I'm not sure if it was Bad Story Dan or one of the other excellent, I call them sabermetrics groups. So if you follow baseball or other sports, you'll know that people really analyze things statistically. And so I call these guys these sabermetrics specialists of Evony, and I appreciate them lots. I wish I knew who created this one. It was passed on to me in my Discord group. A lot of excellent information passed on there. So let's look at the top here first. This is the most important thing to know what we're looking at. So right here, all of this is level 40 generals. 5 stars, 500 cultivation across the board, max specialties, no dragons, gears, or added skills, tech, anything like that at all. Victory column is the VC. So this is just a level 40 general with 500 cultivation in all 3 categories. Now, let's look at what they are. So these are the 6 generals that you want. You want one of these as your wall general. You want JJ, Joseph Johnston, Leo the Third, William Marshall, Zach Taylor, Robert the Bruce, or Leonidas. And you could compare them. So when they are all done, up to 500, 5-star, with no skill books, just their own specs, if you look at ground attack, Leonidas has the edge, 288%. Robert Bruce is second. Ground defense, Leonidas, big edge still. And ground HP, Bruce and Leonidas. And they should be leading the way because they are ground generals, right? They are supposed to be the best at ground. Now, if we look at range attack, who's the best at range attack? And well, it is Zach Taylor. No surprise there. His main book is 50%. And then you could look higher on the board here. Marshall gets to 261 and Johnston gets to almost 280. So this is big information, how they are helping you out specifically. Range defense, range HP, almost everybody's pretty equal there. Looks like at 226, Leo the Third is coming in nice there. But basically they're all kind of equal. No one stands out. When we get to mounted troop attack, mounted troop defense, mounted troop HP, the highest two mounted troop attacks are Marshall and Bruce. And then the most important things on mount is HP. And it looks like the three standouts here are Joseph Johnston at the top, and then Robert the Bruce and William Marshall. So they end up with 230 on each. And then if we look at siege, right there, the second highest one, looks like Leo the Third comes in the highest at siege with Joseph Johnston at 270. And then 260 is the next highest. And then people really drop off the board here. Siege HP, almost everybody is equal. Siege defense, almost everybody is equal. Except for Leo the Third. He kind of has a 30 and 20% advantage over everybody there. So that is good. And siege HP and defense is becoming important on defense now with all these big rally sizes. So looking at this, going across the board, you can look at this sheet. And I wish I could do something other than this image. Like, that's all I have. So all I could really offer you is join my Discord group. And it's posted in there. You can look at this. Or you could just refer back to the video and look at it. But if you have any of these 6 generals, you're laughing. You have something really nice. Just make sure that you build your troops up to it. So if you're going to have Leonidas and run him on the wall, have a lot of ground troops. Because that's what he's good at. And don't worry so much about other stuff. You're still going to have a lot of siege, but make sure to focus on ground. And then when it comes to skill books with these guys, that's totally up to you. You can double down and say, you know what? Leonidas is excellent at ground. I'm going to make him even better at ground and give him ground defense book as well. And it's hard to give him more than that because you're going to need your siege range bonus and possibly archer range bonus nowadays or something else, horse HP. But you can double down, or you could say, you know what, he's so good at ground, I don't have to put any more on him, and I'm going to put some other books on. But that's for you to decide. If you want, you can message me. I can help you walk through those decisions, but ultimately you're going to have to make that decision. You can also change books, right? You're not locked into a book for life. I change books all the time. When I was early in the game, I didn't have siege books on because I had no siege. All I had was horse and archers. So why put any siege books on my Joseph Johnston? But as I grew and got larger, I started to adapt my books and my gear to what my troop composition was. So this is the wall generals, the top 6 wall generals. Try and get one of these. If you get one of the other guys, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just like I said, don't invest in their specialties and just wait. It may seem like you'll never get one, but there's lots of ways to get good generals. You can buy them in the battle shop with badges or dragon crystals. You can get lucky on the Wheel of Fortune. You can get them in the daily fragments. That's where I got Joseph Johnston. So there are ways to get these guys. So just don't give up and think long term, like I always say. So this is Genghis, server 68. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.